You know what? Maybe I shouldn't.
Now we're live.
Yeah. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Nick. Hey.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh,
Look where we are.
we're in the interspace, the interweb. We can do whatever we want in
here.
here.
In the world. We can do whatever we want. Glad to see you dressed up for the occasion.
Listen, buddy.
All the tens of people out there. Yeah.
You know,
I guess
you just got to let them know.
Can't expect anything else from you.
Nor should you expect.
Have you had to go through several Jurassic Park shirts? Like, have you worn them out and gotten new ones, or is that the same one from?
This is I've had this one for a long, long time, and we have some guests who can affirm that I've had this one for a long, long time. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get off on our tangent, welcome to the Broadway Podcast Network and our launch party of our new podcast, Little Justice.
Yes,
the craziness known as. We are gonna, for the next hour, hang out and talk about our podcast, talk about movies. We got some fun guests we're gonna bring on. The first one is wandering around the home. But she's sitting down.
No, I'm not wandering.
It's my wife. It's my best friend.
Mine too.
Hello.
Sarah Joyce.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi. Hello, Alex, my love, my darling.
Hey, Sarah.
So one thing that you guys will learn listening to the podcast.
Do you activate Siri a lot talking to Sarah?
Listen, Sarah has a very lovely voice that will activate Siri on command. But one thing you'll learn listening to the podcast is that Alex and Sarah have a highly inappropriate relationship, considering the fact that she is my wife.
It's all a matter of perspective, I think.
It's not inappropriate, you mean perfect.
Yeah, it depends who you're asking.
Gross. Yeah. But you'll find that comes in around episode 3, so don't worry about that now. For now, just know that we are a movie analysis podcast, not really movie review as much as movie analysis. We take these movies and we break them down. Not like we have any knowledge of film besides our little bit.
There's no reason to listen to us at all.
We actually truly have no qualifications for this whatsoever. like that's insane. We have a podcast. What's up, Mitchell? How you doing, man? So yeah, but here we are. Also, if you want to donate, we're doing this is of course to help out our friends at Broadway Cares. So please visit the Broadway Cares website. Donate. They are doing broadwaycares.org/help2020 to donate. They are doing a COVID-19 relief fund, and Broadway Cares is always raising money for amazing causes. So donate. So without further, Alex, why don't we bring on some guests and get this party?
Let's do. They're mostly your friends. So why don't you introduce me to your friends?
I know. Oh, Colleen says hi.
Hi, Colleen. How are you?
Nice to see you, Colleen.
Hi, Colleen.
So
it's fun. I get to shout people out.
Yeah, you do get to shout people out.
Is this what you do? Is this like your life? People say hi to you from the ether, and you get to respond. That's fun.
I just talk, and sometimes people listen. Let's get these people in here. So first of all, I'm gonna start with the man I've known the longest. So, ladies and gentlemen, for I'd say almost 12 years now, me and this young man have acted together opposite each other. We started in Rent and Ithaca, and then we did a show called Motown, and then we did a show called Hamilton, and he is my brother's darkness. Jevon McFerrin, can you come on in here?
Hey guys.
There he is.
Beverage
in hand. And what's beautiful about this is, Alex, you do know Jevon because both of these
were I threw Nick's bachelor party.
Yeah.
When was it? That was
4 years ago.
Go on, Nick. What's the date?
4 years ago.
When did you get married? 4 years ago. Yeah, we threw a bachelor party at like upstate New York. We rented a huge villa in the middle of the woods for like nothing. Got some Nerf guns, some cereal. That was literally that was the whole thing. It was 3 days of Nerf guns and cereal.
Yeah, hundreds of Nerf bullets.
Hundreds.
Yeah. It was
like a giant mansion. It was amazing.
nobody was safe. Like, literally couldn't go anywhere because you get shot.
Oh,
And I threw a dick on Tori's head.
Oh my god!
You remember that? It was in
I remember that. I remember some people got very angry.
Tori got so mad.
Was he like?
Yo, Tori was ready to
Very
kill
angry.
everyone there and just leave.
Everyone was pissed.
Everyone
It was-
said-
Just keep the deposit.
It was like it was in permanent. I didn't know it was permanent, and I was like half. I was in the back.
Was
Like,
it permanent? Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I was not so.
All coming
It was a
back
permanent
to
marker.
me now. Yeah.
It was it
Awkward.
was a special moment.
It was rough.
Moment.
So that's but Jevon and Alex, we all go way back, and that will be fun. Let's get the other two guests in here, and then we can really fuck around. So the next young man I have coming up is another beautiful gentleman that I met doing Hamilton. A lot of these people are from Hamilton, by the way. So if you like Hamilton, you're going to see a lot of friendly faces. This young man plays Lawrence Philippe in the Philippe tour of Hamilton, and that is Elijah. Elijah, come on in. There.
Hey.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now that's
this
an
point-
intro.
Drinks. Buckets,
At this point, I feel like played is pretty accurate. So
yeah, man. Listen,
with the way this quarantine life is going,
that's it. That's how it should be. I love it for you, bro. Elijah's great. And then you know what? We'll get the third one in here too, just for kicks.
Bring them all in.
Oh,
all right, cell
Elijah.
phone.
Your
You got-
phone's drunk, Elijah.
You know, I'm trying. I'm working on it.
This young man. So my favorite part of this young man is he's a dancer. He's an actor. He's a writer. He's been writing a brilliant screenplay that he's been working on for about almost a year now, I think. But he is also just one of the most loyal friends you have, as is everyone in this chat. But my favorite anecdote about this man, and I'll let him tell it. He's in Lion King on Broadway right now. And most recently, he was playing one of the leaves, one of the trees, Elijah.
I think it was the leaves, like a blade of grass or
He
something.
was playing a blade of grass, and he got stuck in the trap door.
Oh no!
You're rude for doing this. Like this. You're rude.
Daniel Gaymon, come on in here.
Oh no!
Hey, show stop
Fucking
right.
Intro.
Like,
Show
okay.
stop right.
Let me say this first part. All right. I am so glad to be here. This is so cool to see everybody's faces. I'm so glad. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm sure you guys too. So like, it's really cool to finally be on one. That being said,
Yeah.
you are you are so awful. You're so awful. You didn't have to bring it up. Why do they have to know that? That's fine.
Because there's nothing you can do.
It's on you. Oh, what kind words you have said, sir. And then you had to add that
I
asterisk.
just had to bring it home, baby. That's the thing. We all this whole crew, we all have dirt on all
everybody.
You got dirt on me. Jevon has stories about me.
You have so many stories about me.
There we go. Let's bring them out.
No, we signed a
As
non-disclosure
professional
agreement.
Yeah, we did. There's an NDA.
There's an NDA.
You can tell the story about me with the knife in the rain.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a
That's
classic.
Tell
Classic.
that. That's bell, even it out. And then I got questions for y'all.
okay, so Nik
I
Walker,
cannot hear Jevon at all.
you can't hear me.
No.
I can hear him.
Yeah, we.
You can hear me. So just
Great.
Elijah.
As long as y'all can hear him, that's fine.
Well, so
Sorry, Elijah.
yeah. Sorry, Elijah.
Sorry, Elijah.
Dang, I'm gonna miss the
Yeah,
story.
you can
All right, so me and Nick linked up. We met doing Rent up at Ithaca, and he was dating some girl at the time, and I don't know her name, and just
Gains.
pour one out for the homies. So, but you know that he was young and dumb and in love, and he was really talking her up. So like the whole time we were really hyped to meet this girl because we all love Nick. Nick is such an amazing person.
Most of them.
And And so finally she comes to the show. We all figure out where she's sitting. So, you know, when you see people in the audience, you know, like you might do like little extra things like to them. So they're like more involved in the show. So we did everything. And as we noticed throughout the entire show, she was like not in it. Like she's sitting there like this, like not in the show. And so fast forward to the end of the show, you know, I go home and I'm with my girlfriend at the time. We're about to go to sleep, and Nik calls me up, and Nik is like, "Hey, man, whatever is broke up with me." And it was one of those like, "Oh shit" moments, right? And I'm like, "Oh my god, where are you?" And he goes, "I'm just walking on a bridge."
No.
Showtime.
just like dead like that. Just walking on a bridge. Oh, this isn't even the knife in the rain story. This is an even better story. So I'm like, but it was the bridge going to the theater. So I knew exactly where he was. So I was like, don't go anywhere. I'm going to come get you. Hang up the phone. I call up our friend Ryan Garcia, who had a car, who was staying at 212 Giles as well. And I was like, yo, Nik's girlfriend broke up with him. We got to go find him. He's at the bridge. So we get in the car and we drive to the bridge, and Nik isn't there.
Gone.
Nik's not on the bridge. So obviously we're freaking out. And then Adam Hose calls us up and it's like, oh, Nik called me too. I picked him up. We're over at this restaurant drinking. And so for a good 10 minutes, me and Ryan Garcia are freaking out because we thought he jumped off a bridge.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Which honestly, like, I would have been like, if he would have died from that fall from that DPS bridge, because it wasn't that high up.
It wasn't high up at all.
It wasn't high up. It's a good ankle spraining bridge.
Yeah, it was shallow. There was no way I would have died.
I need
And
more
so,
pictures and stories.
The night basically just ends up like, oh, also it was towards the end of our run, so college kids were coming back to Ithaca.
And they were doing
So-
next door.
Yeah, so we just all decided to just go out and get Nik really drunk. And Sarah, just so you know, Nik did not dance with anyone. Not one person. Nik drank and then walked his ass home. And disappeared. He's like Kaiser Soze. He's gone. So
No.
it's exactly so. That was one of many PG-ish stories I can tell about Nik Walker.
Hang on. Now we got there's 5 of us here, and we can have 6 up to a chat. Now there's a guest in here, Alex, that I think you do know.
Finally, somebody that I'm acquainted with.
Let's bring him in here.
He's got some Nik stories too. I think he's the one who introduced us back in the day.
Alan, can we bring Zach Kazin in here? Is it possible?
There he is.
There he is.
I love the way people are popping in with their drinks. Like,
of course you
everyone prepares it. Like, all right, I gotta look good.
Yeah, like I was holding my glass so long to figure out.
That first appearance is important.
What's the angle? I gotta figure out where.
Yeah, right. Where should you put it down? And yeah.
So Daniel and Elijah. So me, Alex, and Zach went to college together. And Zach and I we weren't in the same floor, but we were in the same building.
No.
Or we were in the same building.
Oh, this was like pre-freshman year, right? You guys were part of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
First time I lived together.
Yeah.
You were my first friend. Basically, I'm entitled to 99% of the royalties from this podcast.
Yeah. It's accurate. You are responsible. You're responsible for all of it.
I'm sorry.
Alex,
I'll never forgive you for it.
Yeah, don't ever forget me. And Alex wrote a movie called Borderland, which is a really, really brilliant film, and I do mean that.
It's on Amazon still, I think.
Yeah.
If you Google it, Borderland Nick's in it.
Yeah.
Short film. Go check it out. I'll get my 10 cents and I'll be happy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Now we're all here, man. It's we're all met, and there'll be more cycling through. We got so many guests coming through tonight, but we're here because we all love movies. and that's kind of the cool thing. So I have some questions to start us off. Very easy ones. I was gonna do the trivia first, but I figure we can do opinion, and then we can get to trivia. Is that fair enough?
Niggas out here trying to start fights.
Exactly.
I would
You know what I mean?
lose at trivia.
I was because me and Alex were talking previous system. We were like, "Yo, do we?" Because Broadway is such like a loving, gentle, like kind community, and we were like, "Are they really like Broadway?"
I was worried. I'm like, this is a little edgy.
Like you know who we are.
A little.
Why are
It's
you
Nik.
in here?
Nick without the filter.
Yeah, because we like fights. Our whole podcast is a fight.
We like legitimate
Like legitimately, we're gonna get arrested for some of this stuff.
arguments that can possibly get personal.
I was hoping we get like a little parental advisory logo on
Oh,
it. I don't know if you do that for the podcast.
That's
I
what
want
you
one.
need.
I
Yeah.
just listened. I listened to one of the new episodes dropping in about a couple weeks, and Alex, like the running joke is making fun of Bambi's mom dying. That's just a running joke where we just play Bambi saying "mother" over and over.
It's never gonna not be funny.
So funny, mother.
Mother, the music's all dramatic. Mother,
Mother.
Lord.
Oh my gosh.
It's terrible.
it was a long time
Thank
ago.
you,
baby,
Sarah.
brother. You know,
Bambi's mom did die, and that's
did.
tragic. So let's
Yeah,
start.
it is. So let's start with
Let's start with some questions for you guys. So, first question. Easy one. Still going to have some debate here. Marvel versus DC. With the caveat, I'm talking all DC. I'm not just talking extended universe DC. I'm not talking Zack Snyder. I'm talking all DC that's ever been made. So that includes Christopher Reeve's Superman. That includes, I see, Gaymond's ready. That includes Batman, Christopher Nolan trilogy, all that versus Marvel.
Ooh.
Who's coming out?
I think like the debate I feel like can go so many different ways. Like for me personally, I was not a huge comic book person, but my first superhero I loved was Superman. But I would say if I'm just strictly going to talk about the films, since I'm not as knowledgeable about the comics and some multiverses and all the things, I would say Marvel, hands down, has destroyed DC when it comes to telling the stories of the comic books because they had a 10-year plan. Every movie interweaves in a different way. And I just feel like DC really just tried to make 10 movies, put them into 2 with too much fan service. And honestly, it ruined the story. Now, if we're going to talk about comic books and who's the greatest and Batman versus Superman, humans versus aliens with powers and everything, I'm going to step out because I know I know my place. But Christopher Reeves, but I'll say this, Christopher Reeves is the greatest Superman and Michael Keaton is the best Batman. And Bruce Wayne, because you must be able to play both very well.
Sarah.
And I'm out.
Did you think Michael Keaton was a better Bruce Wayne than Batman, or vice versa?
I think actually they were equal. I think he's the only one for me personally that I can say was equally good as both.
I think Christian Bale, in my opinion, was the best who was good as Bruce Wayne. He had the aristocratic, well brought up, wealthy silver spoon.
100%.
Going on perfectly. And despite that Batman boy.
What are they?
Swear to me.
And, like, there were just a lot of.
He did bring a certain power as Batman that was intimidating and gritty. I love me some Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Batman.
That's why I like Michael Keaton though, because when he was Bruce Wayne, he wasn't intimidating. He was like an aging, rich old white guy, and then you put the suit on. I think it was the most dramatic shift. It was the biggest change from Bruce Wayne to Batman. Like Christian Bale, when he becomes Batman, he's just Bruce Wayne in a bat costume. Val Kilmer is the epitome of that.
We got so much more of a beginning with Christian Bale's Batman. seeing him become the Batman and still kind of have the anger inside of him as Bruce Wayne.
Mhm.
But also, I would also argue, not argue with you, Sarah, but the reason I also can't compare Jack Nicholson Joker to Heath Ledger is because they're completely perfect for the world that they live in.
100%. Yeah,
the movies are almost so different.
Yeah.
And Prince did the soundtrack, so Party Man, let's go.
I think I'm gonna. Oh, sorry, Sarah.
No. So I just Jevon mentioned Prince, and I had a moment. Please, the floor is yours, sir.
I don't know. My favorite Batman track is still "Kiss from a Rose."
Yes, Val Kilmer.
I have always been a DC comic book fan. Like
he came prepared.
Like prepared. Like
here to go.
Don't try. Don't try. Still don't try.
Daniel got comics for days.
Like, so don't.
Did you ever finish that comic? That big
Don't
old
come
thing
for Daniel.
No, like this is an encyclopedia. It's not even a comic. The big ass like Bible comic I have. No, I haven't finished.
Yeah.
No. But that being said, no, I've made this joke before. You know, when DC started their slate of movies, it kind of felt like I was at a dance competition. So I'll explain the mentality of that. So in a dance competition, for the previous year, the regionals, if you will, or the nationals, when a kid has a perfect solo, when they have like the winning solo, every kid looks at this solo and says, I want to have that solo. If this girl has like a unitard and does a bunch of legs and tricks, they're like, cool, that's what's going to win. I'm going to do that. DC was trying to do that with Marvel without the formation, without the planning that Kevin Feige had already set up like millions of years ago, if you will. So it's like, it's not even close. They are not beyond saving, but the way they have told these, like Yvonne said, the way they have put out these stories, telling these stories from comic books, it has not been up to par. That being said, their animated movies are still amazing. These comics are still have so much depth, and I think the Dark Knight trilogy took us to maybe one of the deepest places. Like Infinity War, we can make that another conversation, but like I think with, like you said, like with the Joker, with the times, you know, even Christian Bale, they played this thing in Dark Knight or even Batman Begins, where he has to, as Bruce Wayne, he has to get his guests out of the room, so he has to play a cocky Bruce Wayne. It's not even the real Bruce Wayne. He's actually having to play this cocky version of himself so that he doesn't have to, so that they really unassume that he's Batman. It's like a whole nother, it's like almost a Christopher Reeve thing. Like there's a moment in Superman when he takes his glasses off and he like has to put them back on. It's like, you have to go that full out in order for them to not assume that you're the superhero. And I think they took that the best in the Dark Knight series. I wrote notes down because I was like, yes, get him. Like, let's go. But yes, I think in the Joker wise, they took us the deepest. Not saying Marvel Cinematic Universe was trying to even copy what the Dark Knight did, because Iron Man and Dark Knight almost came out the same year, I believe. I forget, but I'm glad that Marvel still stuck to their plan and didn't try to go as deep as this, you know, I mean, they kind of sort of tested those grounds with Winter Soldier, but like to make it to test the realism of the real world on these superheroes. I think the Dark Knight did that the best, closest to like a Watchmen comic book, if you will. But Marvel wins in the games of movies, yes, absolutely. And the whole slate of it, yes. But DC wise, they have a lot on their plate. They're just not being utilized in the best way.
Yeah.
Amazing. Elijah, what's your thoughts, my friend?
I concur. Like I've always kind of been a Marvel fan, even like from a kid. Like Spider-Man was my favorite superhero when I was a kid. And then once I like caught wind of like Iron Man, and I was like, oh snap, Iron Man is kind of freaking amazing. So I'm hands down gonna pick Iron Man over Batman any day. Just cause like I guess I like Tony Stark as a person more so than Bruce Wayne. Like, and on top of that, I feel like the movies, you know, what Jevon and Daniel were saying, like they are well more planned out than DC. I feel like DC started to kind of pick up steam when they started to do like Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. That's
their best one.
Like that's their best one for me too. But yeah, I concur. I feel like most people would pick Marvel over DC too, though. Like that's if you're talking movies, if you're talking, you can't beat Marvel when it comes to those movies. Like that was genius. Like, and that's one of the only films like today that I see packing theaters like that. You know what I mean? Like it's the Marvel saga, like their whole from beginning to finish. Once people realized where they were going with it, they were packing them theaters out like crazy.
Kazan, what's your thoughts on this?
All right, so I've been trying to find a reason to say DC. It's too fucking hard. First, what's the deal? Great. All right. Best movies on this, like film, I'm giving it to Nolan here. But if I start to go through like the entire Marvel world, there's like 8 movies that you could be like, that's an incredible film. So you go like, Logan is an incredible film.
Oh yeah.
Days of Future Past, really fucking good film. Spider-Verse, maybe the best Marvel film.
Accurate.
Not corny and crazy, but Black Panther's also like an incredible film.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
you can't even use the like, oh, we got Dark Knight trilogy, we got Joker, we got these. Like, yeah, they're really good cinematic, but you add that on top of all of the Marvel world. My biggest gripe with Marvel though is you have this big lead up to like, all right, we got the big movie last summer, and then 30 seconds later they're like, here's 15 more. It's like a minute to just process.
Yeah, it does get a little overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
It wasn't the end. It was like, just kidding. We're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Great marketing.
No, Alex. Where are you kind of landing with everyone on this one?
I respect what Marvel's done the most. I would rather, if I had to pick, like, hey, you have to watch a bunch of DC or a bunch of Marvel. Obviously, like Marvel just is its own thing entirely. Like it's not even a Marvel DC question. But if I had the choice to like pick an IP and make it in the style, like I would much rather see a movie in the style of Dark Knight or Joker using DC, and I don't think you could do that with most or any of the Marvel characters. So like I would rather see a really good DC movie, but I don't really trust the company to deliver them consistently.
Yeah.
So Marvel.
I just want to shout out. Susan is saying that Black Panther was amazing, and for us, Aquaman had the best story for Wonder Woman. I can see that. I can see it.
I liked Aquaman.
Aquaman
What a weird movie.
I haven't seen it.
Just conceptually, like, hey, let's send Jason Momoa underwater for like the whole movie.
I have no problem with sending Jason Momoa underwater.
Shouldn't work. It was weird. Yeah, I loved it.
I saw, this is bad internet research, but like I saw an Instagram post that Marvel actually, before they created each and every movie, they watched Superman. That could be a terrible fact, but I saw an Instagram post that had said that it was probably Geek Facts or something like that. They'd done their research, so it's bad. It's like a he said, she said from my part. But if that's even a thing, like that's got to give weight to like how much Superman did. That's like, I mean, first.
Well, and see,
Yeah.
so this is where I want to jump. And first, the other person I want to shout out really quickly, AJ Miller, for those of you who know.
He's here.
AJ, we love you so much.
We
AJ,
love
you, AJ.
AJ is an incredible man.
AJ's the man.
He is the man. And Alex, hi, Alex Smolowe. Who is
My wife is in the other room watching on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, commenting.
I love
Hi,
it.
babe.
Brilliant. But here's, I mean, that is a point that I do want to throw in. Is that you know I think I agree with Alex. I respect what Paul did the most.
No, you didn't delete
What's up,
it.
M&A?
Hey, Emma,
My wife, M&A.
how are you?
Good to see you.
Hey, girl.
How's it going?
So
What
so
up,
that's what I respect what Marvel did the most. But what I will say, I love this whole setup.
I'm good. How are you guys? Sorry.
No, we're good. It's so good to see your face. We're just talking about Marvel.
Oh, you're in. She's in the headphones and the.
She's got there's a lot
I'll bring
happening.
you back later.
She's on a delay.
Lovely. So
Anyway,
and no, that was amazing. That was spectacular. But the thing is, for me, I've tried over and over to watch like Civil War, Endgame, all this stuff.
tried.
Without the crowd, without like being in a packed theater with my buds who like know these movies, and like while I still have the emotions, it's not the same for me as when I like those movies were so, and maybe it's just because of how we watched them, but we watched them as a unit, right? And so they do have this like huge nostalgia factor of like, oh, I wish I was in like a packed theater with my friends watching these movies. Whereas The Dark Knight, I just watch and appreciate as a film. Like I watched The Dark Knight.
Right.
And that's not to say one over the other, but I will say that for me, the watchability of Marvel sometimes wanes because they are such event films. They're not films that I can truly sit down with. They're films that kind of demand, like when freaking Portals comes on and he says on your left, like if I don't hear a crowd, do you know what I mean? Like it's like, well, what am I?
You know, if I may,
Please.
I didn't see the midnight showing of Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
I waited about a week because I am an old crotchety woman, and Nick and I went to see Civil War during an afternoon matinee. And I had a very, very powerful emotional response to Civil War. So I definitely hear what you're saying. Like, I saw the midnight showing of Rogue One, for example. I was sitting right between Nick and Jevon. And that was a very, very powerful experience with the entire audience there. The energy was so powerful. It was just it was literally a room of diehard Star Wars fans experiencing this movie. And it really did feed the experience. Mm-hmm. And then I found watching the movie on my own after that, I didn't enjoy it quite as much, but I did find with Civil War and with Black Panther, you know, like every single time I see those movies, I still have a very powerful emotional response because I think the integrity of the content is supreme. They have so much integrity, but I definitely hear what you're saying.
No.
You're into Star Wars for a second?
What?
Say what?
You veer into Star Wars for a moment there?
I mean, we're gonna go to Star Wars, and I have
all of Disney.
Marvel,
just so everybody knows, this podcast does get beyond Marvel movies.
We do talk about
most of it's not about comic books. So if you're into anything but comic books, still come listen to it.
Nick and I are watching Empire right now.
We are.
Please tell me that there's Star Wars on the other side of your screen.
There is. Empire is on pause.
We're like turn your computer around.
No,
Han just got tortured.
Amazing.
Anyway,
great point. You said that the dopamine, if you will, the dopamine, like that whole experience, it wears off because after you watch it for a while. That's a good point. I feel that too. I agree.
So what would you say is the Marvel movie? The dopamine, whether you're in a crowd or not, is still valid. Like
Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier.
Hands down.
Hands down.
For me personally, it's Endgame. Like I love when stories reach a conclusion and everything ties up together. Like there's just something in my heart that gets excited. Like anytime I see that, anytime I hear that on your left, anytime Tony snaps his fingers, bro, I'm like,
oh yeah.
I think it's those three. I think it's Winter Soldier, Infinity War, and Endgame. I think like those three. Like if I watch any movies forever and ever, if I can keep three movies out of Marvel MCU, I would keep those three, and like I'll take that. I love
that. Gentlemen, in about 4 minutes, we're gonna circulate y'all out, and then and get the new crew because we've been talking for almost 40 minutes, which is amazing.
Oh, look at that!
Wow,
that went so fast.
Alex,
hi.
Yeah, we need to be doing this more like often. We need to do this. I'm
in. Well, you and I do this every week. Every Monday. Tune in, see what we're gonna get up to next.
I hate you so much.
But yes, I agree.
Let me ask, but before we let you guys go and bring in the new crew, let me ask everyone, what is like the perfect quarantine movie that you've discovered in these past, like the movie that makes you feel the most, the movie that just makes you the happiest in this time right now?
There's been a lot of movies where you watch them now and it hits different, like Children of Men.
Oh my god!
And I was like, damn, 2027 is real close.
Yikes!
Oh,
I always I can watch The Matrix any day of my life.
Are you excited for the fourth one?
I'm gonna have to exit on that, but funny enough, I did watch for my first time. I did watch The Last Samurai, and it's still with me in a way. I expected that in a way, but it still hit me on a different level than I expected. So that was a nice watch.
That's a movie that's better than its premise and star. You think, oh, Tom Cruise and Japan should not work, and it kind of works.
It kind of works
because of Ken Watanabe. That's why it works.
Oh man,
it's him. He is the heart of that movie. Yeah, it's
The Matrix, but that for me. But I just watched that, and that was my best quarantine movie thus far.
Elijah.
I haven't been watching a lot of movies in quarantine. I've been watching like a lot of shows, really. All kind of stuff. I started Shameless. I hadn't seen any of Shameless. That show is actually freaking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like hilarious. But if I had to pick a movie, I really love V for Vendetta. That's been like one of my top movies for forever. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Love that movie. Yes.
Amazing.
Nice. Poppins of comic book right now.
Daniel's got all the props ready.
He was prepared for this.
No, I got my directors behind me. Like, don't sleep.
Oh yeah. Our producer Alan says Back to the Future 2, which is a great one.
Ooh, yes.
That's a great one, Alan.
That is such a good quarantine film. Yeah.
It's very, very true.
Yeah.
How about you, Kazan? What you thinking?
I'm on like a deep Aaron Sorkin kick. Like TV and film. So like, I'd never seen The West Wing. I will admittedly say I've watched like 49 episodes in the last 4 weeks.
It's the best show ever.
Pretty good. I watched the Steve Jobs movie the other night. And then the movie that I always come back to, and I will defend it, that it was the best movie of the 2010s, is The Social Network. And
I like The Social Network.
It is just every time you watch it, it reflects society, and I'm waiting for the sequel.
Amazing.
My top 5.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That score too.
Yeah, score is beautiful. Zach, you've never met our friend Fergie.
Oh God,
I have not.
He is going in on the private chat right now.
Fergie's upset.
Yeah.
Fergie's got emotions.
Fergie's got a lot of emotions.
You have 4 more people, or should I stay on and debate him?
Listen, you know what? Because if we do, if you know what, if Gaymon McFerrin and Elijah are willing to fall on the swords.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll just watch.
So, guys,
I'm still watching.
Thank you for coming on.
I'm just gonna go to the green room. Let me refreshen up on my
if you guys go, just stay in the chat.
I'm not going. Where am I gonna go? I'm on quarantine.
I have to read every single one.
All right, Alan, let's get. Can we put Gaymon, Elijah, and McFerrin in the green room?
Do I just leave the studio?
No, you stay there. Yeah.
Now.
And now I would like to bring in Kyle, Conroe, and Fergie.
I don't know what I'm about to.
Be right.
Whoa!
I'm dodging.
Fergie.
Why is Fergie in the darkness?
Emperor out in the darkness.
I like how close I am to you.
Oh my god.
Honey.
Fergie,
Oh my god.
The darkness. I am the darkness.
this is terrifying.
You are really embracing this darkness thing.
God.
I am the blackness.
Oh my God, gentlemen, welcome to our Justice launch party. Have you guys met? Have you guys met my boy Alex and my boy?
Hey guys, sorry, my wife's gonna hop in the green room too.
I believe we have a wife. Have you come to the show?
Yeah, I've been to the show. Were you guys on tour?
Yeah.
With him. Okay, so I probably met you that once.
City?
When did I come? I was there in Seattle.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So maybe in Seattle I met you, and then I think one other time.
Yeah.
Where was it? I don't know. Denver. I don't know.
Oh snap! And real quick, guys, for everybody who is just joining us on the feed, we are doing donations to Broadway Cares.
Yes.
So if you please visit BroadwayCares.org/help2020 to donate, and we'll get it going. Get some good help happening.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, your friend
Jevon.
Oh, Jevon.
So what's upsetting is when I was trying to promote this, Nick, I had written on Instagram, "We're doing House of P Buckets live," and then I realized,
Nobody knows
what House of P Buckets.
what House of P Buckets is.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
House of P Buckets is a group of anarchy created and inhabited by some of the most disgusting miscreants that walk the earth. That include Kyle Scatliffe, Conroe, myself, Nik Walker, Elijah, Daniel, Justice, and Mark, and what's his name? Marcus Choi.
Thank you, Diana.
Diana.
Thank you, Diana.
Diana, the homie.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, so we were just discussing Marvel versus DC and got to Aaron Sorkin, and then Fergie got mad.
Yo, Zach, we gotta talk, dog.
I've only not seen The West Wing. I've seen everything else.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You went on like a Sorkin ramble after that, and I was like, just say you didn't see Sorkin. Just say it, dog. Because I was hot. I was hot about it.
Fergie came in so mad.
No, I've seen The Social Network a good 10 times.
Okay. Yeah, I stand down. I stand down.
Come in and say that movie was terrible, and I was like ready to go.
No. I was merely here to defend. As a matter of fact, one time when we were on tour, Nick and I were in a rehearsal, and he walked by, and I said, "Oh look, we were in Minneapolis." I said, "Oh look, Rob Reiner and Aaron Sorkin are doing a talk back, and we should go." And he was like, "Obviously." So we got dinner, and then I didn't really look up where the discussion was going to happen. And we show up, and it's Minneapolis. So it's not shocking that we walk in and we're the only black folks there. But it was not just the fact that we were the only black people there, but the age range was so horrifyingly...
It was high. It was a high age range. It was high.
Everyone had a little stretcher or had a little walker. We were like, oh, okay.
Where was it, Fergie? Who was producing the talkback?
Rabbi, I forget his name. Klein? Rabbi Klein.
He was at the JCC in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I was at a Jewish temple.
Yep.
Which I did not care to express.
I was so jealous of you two. I was she
was mad.
So jealous.
She was mad.
Well, none of them actually knew any of their works except a few good men and Lean on Me. That's not Lean on Me. What is it? What's the one about the boys walking?
No, Stand By Me.
Stand By Me. They only knew Stand By Me and freaking a few good men. Everything else, people were like, "What's the newsroom? What is he talking about?"
Oh my god!
What is the newsroom?
What is the newsroom?
Hey guys, so this is yet another wonderful group of actors in here. Kyle Scatliffe, just the most beautiful man. Currently, Tom Yuck. Was playing Tom Robinson
Oh gosh!
In Aaron Sorkin's To Kill a Mockingbird,
And he did such a beautiful job.
Was spectacular.
Such a beautiful
spectacular.
Job. Just so you all know, even though we praise Aaron a lot, Aaron is like one of the coolest people I've ever met and worked with. He's so awesome. So like being like the greatest like writer ever, but also being like one of the nicest people.
A good guy, yeah. That's good to hear.
Love that.
I love that. I love that. Then we have Conroe Brooks, who is just another one of the best men I know. He is a standby in the Hamilton Philippe Company. He stands by for George Washington and Mulligan Madison and King George. He's been holding it. You've been holding it down since the beginning, my friend.
Yeah.
Since the beginning.
Come on, Conroe.
No, it's been a long road.
And
I got a movie that's not the same because of Man 6.
Yeah.
It never will be.
Yeah. But you hear it's all right. It's all right. And then
I don't need to run.
No, you don't need to run.
I don't need to run. Why I need to run?
Fergie.
Fergie is just
Fergie. I don't know.
We can't even.
Virgil Mulligan.
Writing things in this chat.
My favorite line.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, Conroe. I took away from your lovely You've been holding it down since the beginning.
No, they can't see that.
Good.
Yeah.
No.
Back to movies, guys. Back to movies.
Back to movies.
Yeah.
So Fergie plays Mulligan Madison, Hamilton Broadway. Elijah. Yeah, there's a lot happening in a private chat that shouldn't be happening, but also should. So I want to raise the stakes with this one. I want to ask some trivia.
Oh God.
I want to see. We're gonna start off real simple. But then we'll get. We'll see how far we get. And I think there's like a lot of people in the waiting room right now. So we'll cycle through and we'll keep moving. But I want to see what you get. So the first one, I'll ask, and we'll do a little point system. So use. Oh, it's been full. Oh, it's been full. Great. There's nobody else there. It's wonderful. Everybody's here.
Yep.
So use your hand as a buzzer. Bzz, whatever you got to do.
Punch the camera.
So
punch the camera.
Punch the camera. What are the dying words of Charles Foster Kane in Citizen Kane? Kyle.
Rosebud.
Boom. Kyle.
Rosebud.
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
The way his lips moved in that moment always cracked me up. It was weird.
That's the most Sarah Joyce thing ever said about anything. I expect nothing less from Sarah.
It's all like behavior. It's like behavior. People's little behaviors that are very fun to her. She's like,
like significant moments will happen for like philosophical and psychological reasons, and literally Sarah will be like, "Why the fuck he look like that?" This series of events.
It's so true, but that's what we love.
That's
her.
the truth right there.
Okay, Sarah, you should get this one because this is somewhat close to your heart. So, what shocking Wes Craven horror movie carried the marketing tagline, "To avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's only a movie"?
I love Wes Craven too, so I'm like, wait a minute.
I was gonna say, Kyle, you should get this.
Avoid fainting is only a movie.
Keep repeating, it's only a movie, and this is there's one of your favorite podcasts took its name from this. I think. Movie.
I should know this.
I should know this too.
I think I know.
Awesome.
Well, go for it if you know. Go for it.
It's
Eric.
Fergie.
The Bride of Chucky.
Inaccurate.
Is it Last House on the Left?
Alex Amolowe comes in.
Oh, that's right.
That movie is fun.
Yeah,
that movie.
A minute ago, but no, I didn't do the.
He did.
Oh yeah, you gotta punch it. Literally,
Like a
just
punch
hit it.
your computer screen.
Yeah.
I own that movie. It's
right there. Jevon's guess was The Hills Have Eyes.
oh god, that movie's also messed
That
up.
movie's also very messed up. Wes
Yeah.
Craven. Ugh,
Yes.
Wes Craven.
Yeah. I'll ask one more.
Mm.
See if you can get this. What? And Fergie, if you don't answer this, I will actually be mad.
No, no.
What was the first feature-length animated movie ever released?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. 1938.
But I didn't want to
Starring
get
Adriana
booted, baby.
Castellati as Snow White.
Conroe, what are you drinking right now?
You watch that now.
This is just water with some post-workout deliciousness because
That's lovely.
Yeah, Crystal Light up in there.
I went on it. Yeah, you know, just
You
went on a
literally
little.
said on the private
Wow.
group that you liquefied crystal meth. What are you talking about?
Say what?
You told us you had found a way to liquefy crystal meth and you were drinking it. That's what you said.
Fergie's trying to get people in trouble. In this.
I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble. I'm just saying what Conroe told me.
Man. I never told you that. My hand didn't even buy my computer to type anything. Crystal light.
Go down. This is all going down. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah.
This
Oh.
chat.
This
Susan
chat
Malone wants to know why did I know that one? Well,
Who does?
AJ wants to know if I'm drunk. No,
Yeah, I would like to know. I'm looking at the live comments. I want to see.
Susan says, "Why do I know that answer?"
Oh, he is a massive Disney fiend.
You massive Disney fan.
Massive
Fiend, not nerd, not fan. Fiend.
fiend. If he could live in the castle, he would.
I would.
When they originally announced quarantine, fun fact: I bought an Orlando ticket so that I could go live in the castle and quarantine in the castle. That was my original goal: was to quarantine in Cinderella's castle and not get caught.
Did you know that someone did quarantine on Disney property?
Yes, I did know that.
Island.
The worst part is this is the stupid-ish about this man. He went to Discovery Island, the forbidden part of the park that they look at frequently for crazy people like him.
He said it was a paradise.
So true.
It's
Hey, Alex, remember when we were worried about having content for this hang?
I don't got to do anything. You guys are just filling it all up. It's perfect.
Just a bunch.
Let me know if you need anything.
Let's see what else we got. Let's see what other questions we can pull up. Let's see. What's a good one? See, some of these are easy, some of these are hard. Okay. Here's one. Give me the name, and if you can give and give me the name of. Let me finish this question first before you answer. What is the name of the skyscraper in Die Hard? And extra points if you can give me the floor that they were on.
Sure.
No, Kyle did it first.
Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
I don't know the floor.
That was better than
No bonus points.
I don't know.
Jevon said Nagasaki.
Dad, I'm done.
Oh my god. I was so confident.
Nagasaki Tower. It's close.
Where they
Nakatomi.
37th floor.
37.
Oh, we have people answering in the thing. Yeah, yep. Tabitha was right. Nakatomi.
Come on, Tabitha.
Brilliant.
Go, girl.
Yeah, you know.
I literally don't know why I remember that. I haven't watched that movie in forever.
We watch it every Christmas. Every Christmas.
Yeah, I just watched.
Now,
Die Hard is a good Christmas series.
I was gonna say, is Die Hard really a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It takes place during the holiday. It takes place during a Christmas party. There's Christmas music, Christmas decor.
If Home Alone is a Christmas movie, Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
exactly.
Technically, yeah. Except for
Home Alone is violent as hell, man.
And 4. Right. It's like 4 Die Hard.
I'll let you have it.
For the record, Tabitha, yes, we can see your comments. You're welcome to play.
Yeah, please.
Tabitha.
All of them.
Yeah, if anybody listening has questions for us,
Yeah. I have a game.
anything,
Let's play to turn this into a thing.
What?
I got a thing. All right, ready? So, y'all know that the podcast is called Little Justice.
Yes.
Nik has
really?
this thing where he likes to get in social media fights with people. Alex is not really on social, but he's actually the arch enemy that Nik has always deserved.
Accurate.
I want to start a Justice for Nik and Justice for Alex thing.
Mm.
And so basically, you gotta.
Is that why it's called Little Justice? Because there will be.
I don't know why it's called Little Justice. Nick should probably explain.
You want to know why it's called Little Justice?
Do they want to know? I don't know. I would like to know.
It's not that bad.
There's a tiny picture of Justice like in the corner somewhere. That's why.
Hi, Tabitha.
One of my favorite. So in the brilliant show, Arrested Development. So literally, okay,
that's right.
Yeah, when we first started thinking about this podcast, I think I had just come over to you from watching Arrested Development. And in Arrested Development, it's in the second season when George is in jail, the father character's in jail. There's like one of his he's talking about how he's becoming friends with all the prisoners, and there's this big tonk Latino dude who he becomes friend with who's like, oh yeah, that's my friend Little Justice, and that was it. I was like, oh yeah, Little Justice
stuck with you.
It just stuck with me.
So I'm your jail friend.
Yes.
Got it.
Beautiful.
Got it.
There it is. Susan says, to those of you who played Tulsa, Oklahoma last summer with the Philippe tour, thank you, and you all were amazing.
Oh.
So that was just me and Conroe.
Hope y'all had fun.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
yeah.
Was that the city right after Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Zach, did you finish your no touching? Did you finish your Justice for Nik?
Justice for Nik. Justice for Alex.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's get back on that train.
Who's listening to your podcast, and I can start it right now with a little mini game, but I want every episode people to pick their winner. If you introed the first episode like it was sort of a debate.
Yeah.
And I won't give spoilers.
I agree with that. And
I support this.
Everyone knows where to go to listen to the podcast, right? You go to Broadway Podcast Network. And if you look up visit bpn.fm/Little Justice.
Look at that. Boom.
This is like a real.
And you can search it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the different places. It's all set up. BPN. Very job.
When Nik asked me to do this, I was like, "Oh, cute! He's gonna do his little Instagram live shit. I'll come on and be a fool." No, this is real.
This is real.
This
went from 0 to 60 real quick.
Real
running this thing.
Adam Host. Zach, in terms of the Justice for Alex, Justice for Nik, Adam Host said he'll always pick Alex.
I love you, Adam.
Let me be clear. This is the same Adam Hose who likes Star Wars.
Do this. No, don't start this discussion. let's just change the topic.
That's what
let's change the topic. Okay, leave him alone.
Ridiculous.
Leave them movies alone.
I'm afraid to go back into private chat because I feel like this is just trash. Right. This is all so insane. Fergie, you need to figure it out. You didn't know.
What?
You didn't know, did you? Who did? Money is in the banana stand, Alan.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
money is always in the banana stand. Yes. Always in the banana stand.
Oh my God. Adam Hose. silly. So yeah, movies and stuff. But yeah, I agree with But the thing that makes it hard, Zach, is that when we do the podcast, it's never really we don't ever pick a winner.
So how the podcast works is every week we pick a thing, because we haven't really said what's the podcast. What do we do? Every week we pick a theme, a motif, something. Disaster movies, date night movies. Worst movie to watch at 2 a.m. We talk about it in the first half. Just what makes that movie. What is that genre, that motif, that theme? And then we've each brought to the table our idea of the epitome of it. And we talk about why that is, setting it up and all that. So each episode we kind of get real deep on a movie. It's not like new movies coming out. It's not anything. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
And this goes for everyone in the green room and everyone here. We would love to have you all as guests. So, if you have a mic, let's figure it out. Let's bring you on.
Go ahead. Question?
Yes.
So I don't know if this was already discussed, but when we were on tour, Nik was a very his performances was lovely, but his leadership as one of our leading men was just as lovely. And what Nik would do every now and then was host a lot of movie events. He would rent out a theater for us because he made a lot of money, and then we would go watch the movies and we watched all kinds of Marvel stuff. The issue is I'm really sober. Like this.
He's definitely sober.
I'm very sober. But in all seriousness, what was everyone's favorite movie event from tour? Can't say Black Panther. We can't say Black Panther. Black Panther clearly was the best. Black Panther was the best thing we did, but we can't say that. Let me tell y'all real quick. When we saw Black Panther, we only had been doing the show for maybe 2-3 weeks. Okay, we don't know the show that well. The next night after we saw Black Panther, the whole show, everyone on stage.
Forever. Throughout the whole show.
The whole show. Anytime you can find it in for no change. Just in random part satisfied. Where you always. There was no.
We did that for a long time
for it.
At least for a month.
Anyway,
I was just doing that.
What was our favorite?
And
you were what?
I was saying in our last month in Toronto, whenever I would go on for MoMAD, Fergie, and quiet uptown, you're standing up there looking down, and somebody would like slowly wave, and I would slowly. I was doing that
oh my god, that's amazing!
Our last month, it was the best.
Oh man, my favorite was Lion King.
What?
No, it was an ass movie, but we were all celebrating its assness together.
I was so annoyed during that.
I whispered shit in my ear that whole film. Every time something terrible happened, you still like it? you still think this shit good? I kept telling Kyle, stop. I'd say, Kyle, shut up. Leave me alone. But the moment when the fur was traveling, it got on the dunk. That's when I was like, I'm done.
I was so mad.
I'm Favreau, you ruined this film. I'm sick of you.
I was like, what? And then for a second, I was like, wait, what happened in the original movie? And I was like, oh, it was just the wind. It was just him interpreting nature to know what
it traveled. It went on a road trip.
Yeah, we watched a piece of fur go on a road trip.
Yeah, visually it was absolutely stunning, and that was unfortunately it.
I will say
that movie.
Billy Eichner.
Billy Eichner was
was great.
They were wonderful. I even like John Oliver.
The kid that played
John Oliver.
The kid that played Little Simba
was everything.
Pretty good. Donald Glover showed up to work.
Yeah.
He was there. That's all you can ask of him.
He showed up in the studio and he thought it was ADR for Atlanta.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that it was in fact Walt Disney Studios and was like, oh, that starts today. Oh, okay. All right, I guess. And then when they were traveling back home and Beyonce had that whole song, I just cursed the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what is happening here? Why are you here?
Yeah.
Fergie's face. That's exactly how I felt. Fergie's face right there.
And that was the worst because, like, I love our cast, but certain of them bitches was like, "Yas, Beyonce, yas."
Oh my gosh, I know.
Like, this means nothing.
And I understand
Absolutely.
She did sound good.
Beyonce sounded good.
She sang the shit out of
No,
it. I didn't care.
it just was so out of place. It was just out of place. And when remember she prepared the lions? Lions!
Lions. No, hold on. I can't. I hate doing this because Beyonce is the queen, and I'm not trying to put any fight in there. I love Beyonce.
I don't think it was Beyonce's fault. Like it feels.
Lions attack.
No. No, see, like the thing is that it's none of everything that happens in that movie. Not her fault.
No, it's not. They just let her do whatever she wants. That's the issue.
I think Jon Favreau was spread a little thin because he had. So
I agree.
Going on.
He
So
was
I feel
in that position.
I feel that the talent could have been directed in a more focused way if he didn't have so much going on.
I'm sure he gave one directing note, and she said, "I'm trying to put this soundtrack together."
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And they're like,
And he said, okay.
Daniel Gaymon pointed out that I'm crying right now. I am full on.
This is one of the movies that was reviewed so poorly that I never saw it.
You didn't.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No.
I have to watch it.
Like it's kind of like the first week, it's just everyone's like, "This is awful."
Yeah.
I got enough to watch. I mean,
It's like some Disney movies make sense for live action. Like, oh, you could do Aladdin live action, you could do Mulan live action, but then it's like, oh, we're gonna do the Lion King like live action, but it's not. But it is, but it's not. It's weird.
Yeah.
No,
that's my thought on that.
Jevon said you watch Aladdin though.
AJ's coming in with some truth. AJ said it wasn't Star Wars or Marvel, so it wasn't too much of a priority.
You think they just?
That's probably true.
Well,
They knew it
I
was
don't
gonna
know.
make money in any way.
Yeah, but they're trying to make money on those movies.
But if they had put more into it, would it have been different?
What did they not put into it? It was the most.
Here's the thing: it's still out of any live action.
It's impressive.
It's made the most. It's made the most of any of the live action remakes. So
Yeah.
even if it was good,
But it's like a weird oddity.
And I
Here's
think
the thing: I haven't watched any of those movies but Lion King. I haven't.
Aladdin was ass.
Because I don't want to taint my own
Right.
love of the older movies by
It
watching.
ruined my childhood. Aladdin ruined my childhood.
Well,
Straight up.
that's a question I would pose to you guys. Do you think, and AJ and Adam and anybody else who's who works at Disney, please comment.
Live action Nemo.
No, they're not doing live action Nemo.
For those who don't know, Adam plays in the Nemo stage show at Disney World. He's just gunning for a job now.
Yeah.
No, here's my question. And AJ, you kind of already answered it a little bit. Were those movies for us? Was it the nostalgia factor for us, or was it to bring new people, like little kids, into the movie?
But that's part of the
to
reason.
a younger audience with the current park situation. I feel as if that makes sense.
Yeah. AJ, you need to stop.
Praise.
Hey,
No, but that's like the point. It's also like when you think about it like this, what is the quickest way to bring in revenue, especially after they made that huge Fox purchase? What is the quickest way to bring in revenue without having to spend money on more IP? What can we use so that all of the IP that we spent in merchandising can we reuse again so that we don't have to pay for more stitching rights or for more fabrics and furs that we've already paid for all these damn Simba dolls? What can we do so that we can get all that old merchandising out and just resell it again? We'll just make a live action remake, but we'll call it live action. It's really just CGI.
Are they really sitting on all that Dumbo merchandise?
You would be shocked.
I forgot they.
I forgot about Dumbo too.
I forgot that.
So did Tim Burton when he made it.
Can I ask a question? With Jon Favreau directing The Jungle Book, were they taking
that movie was solid, by the way.
Yeah, because that.
I want to watch.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the first live action situation that really, really took off and kind of created this new, I don't want to say trend, but this new huge market of just like, here's a visually stunning movie that really took the world by storm. That was a live action recreation of a Disney classic, and it was incredibly successful. Let's keep this going. Like, what was that, like a risk that they took at the beginning?
Yeah, proof of concept.
Cinderella was first. Cinderella was the risk taker. So Cinderella was the risk taker that they did first. Cinderella was reviewed well, but as far as financials go, it didn't do as well as they had hoped. But they realized that this live action remake actually was doing pretty solidly. Now, what they ended up doing was saying, okay, let's get a film that's a little bit more beloved and a little bit more rooted in like cartoony music. Like, if we find a movie that can have that like good music and that real sense of like, my parents remember watching this in the theaters, whether it was the original or the re-release, we can hit that sweet spot. And Jungle Book was that exact thing. And the success of Jungle Book is how Disney saw it as the difference between, oh, this is creatively interesting to, oh, shit, we just discovered that now.
Is that why they're redoing another live action Cinderella because of that?
We're doing another Cinderella?
We're doing another
what?
I don't know if that's one. Wait, who's doing the new one? Because it's not. I don't think it's Disney. It's someone else. It's
You read these comments.
It's Andrew Lloyd Webber is doing. Well, I know he's trying to do Cinderella.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because wasn't that supposed to take over your theater, Kyle, for like a hot second? Because
Cinderella? No.
Because Rudin is producing it.
No, the show that was supposed to take our theater was
Billy Porter.
Oh, I don't even know. Well, no, there were just rumors of shows that wanted our theater, but we never gave it to them.
Billy Porter is the fairy godmother in this new Cinderella.
Is he?
Yeah.
So it's
that's not
very good casting.
That's classy. I like that.
Is
not Disney? That's not Disney.
It's not Disney. It can't be.
I think that's Rodgers and Hammerstein that they're doing.
Okay.
What's happening in the private chat?
I watched that.
The private.
It's dark over in the private chat.
It's so dark.
It's dark in there.
Is it getting dark? Oh shoot! Let me go look at it.
Daniel Gaymon is just. I don't like. All
right, Nick. What kind of stuff you got lined up?
Gotcha.
Why don't you pitch one more time?
Yeah. All right. So I'll ask one more.
Okay.
I mean, guys, we've been doing. We're doing well.
Yeah. So now we've been here for 40 minutes.
Now you've been here.
This just flies. This is fun.
This flies. Just get good people in a room together. That's what. My only thing. I wish that we could have all 10. That would be like that almost be too much though.
Yeah.
No, then we'd be like thrown out. Then
Alan would
YouTube would throw us out.
Anarchy.
Alan's being a saint right now.
Alan, you are being an absolute saint.
Okay, here's a great one.
Okay.
Did La La Land reinvent the musical?
No.
It's La La Land.
No.
Wait, what's the second part?
Problematic
or is it a problematic bore?
I don't think it's a bore.
And Daniel Gaymon says he was in La La Land, so talk trash.
So I saw that movie. Like they actually had like what man is gonna save jazz? I'm dead.
Y'all, I wish you could have a private chat. It's so private.
You know, and I actually watched that movie. It was like one of those where they brought everybody into like a screening, and like Emma Stone came and said like hello to everybody, and Pasek and Paul were both there, and it was after the movie was over, I was like, I actually really loved the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, when you bump into people later and they talk about like all those things and you're like, okay, yeah, I could see what you mean. I was like, I'm pretty sure they didn't think about any of that while they were making it. But I feel like it's just their love of jazz and wishing that it existed.
Yeah. It felt like it was a lot more fun to make than it was to watch. It's like you could tell that a lot of love went into it, and so that made it fun to watch. But like on reflection, you're like, I didn't really like that. Emine, my wife, she loves it. It's like one of her favorite movies, and I disagree adamantly, but
because the action between the two of them is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
And like Gosling though.
Gosling. Yeah.
Damien Chazelle is one of my favorite. Like,
he's amazing.
Yeah, Whiplash is just. It's like a work of art. You know what I mean? Like Chazelle really knows what he's doing when it comes to filmmaking. My issue about La La Land though is that it's exactly like people say. There's nothing about it to me that screams the reinvention of the old golden age.
Yeah.
No. Like it hot. That's not what it says to me at all. As a matter of fact, I think it plays into some of the problematic tropes of some of those films. You know, with John Legend being the black, owner of the club that they end up using his services for, just like, and I'm not saying it's intentional. I'm not saying that was what they were trying to go for. But what I'm saying is that Damien made his love letter to musical theater films of MGM of the time. He wrote a love letter to it. He did not write a manifesto. He didn't write a and
I think it's kind of weird.
Society decided it was for some reason. And to be honest, even in my opinion, I think Gosling and Stone were good. I don't think they were brilliant / Oscar-worthy performances. I think they were good performances.
Can I say? I think they were. When you revisit some of those scenes, and actually when you see a lot of those scenes with the script underneath it running, they're actually improvising parts of those scenes while it's happening.
Well, then let me go do that.
It's actually pretty. They're pretty amazing. That's what got me through the movie was the two of them and their performances. I feel like their performances were the best part of the movie, and like the love letter part I did love, and like the music was good, but like to me, the movie was about those two and the love story, and I got caught in that, and that's what kind of like I was like, oh, this is beautiful. But
I do want to jump in and say, Ryan Gosling. So Sarah had me watch Crazy Stupid Love, which I'd never seen. I gotta say,
so good.
And Gosling. I mean, I was a fan because I love Gosling in Big Short. I mean, I love
Remember the Titans,
but he in that movie, I was like, oh, you're on. Yeah, he's playing on.
Didn't he lose the Oscar? So he won the Golden Globe for for La La Land, and Emma Stone won the Oscar. He was nominated for the Oscar, but didn't he lose to Casey Affleck that year?
Oh shit.
I don't remember. The person I remember losing to Casey Affleck was Denzel. So because Denzel's face
look it up. That was the year of Moonlight. I don't think Manchester by the Sea.
There were 2 different years.
But because Gosling, because the thing that pissed me off that Gosling wasn't nominated for was Blade Runner 2049.
He was so good in that movie.
That movie is so good.
Movie's so good. But it makes sense that he wasn't nominated, just given how that whole thing works. I'm not saying it wasn't worth it. It was an amazing performance, but for them to come up and say Best Actor for Blade Runner, I don't think that would have happened.
Like sci-fi movies don't get love like that all the time.
Yeah, but maybe his Dune will. Dune might have the clout.
I want to take that back.
But
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Alex.
No, you're good.
What I was saying was, I want to take that back to what Scorsese was saying, because I watched an article recently where Scorsese. I watched an interview where he backed up what he said about how movies today aren't cinema, or that superhero films aren't cinema, they're theme parks. And when he explained it, I actually think he got a lot of flack for just not being able to explain right what he said. What he was trying to say was that the business of filmmaking these days have turned into the business of making theme parks.
Yes.
Not necessarily that making those movies had any less cinematic relevance or significance, but that the making of films these days are trying to make the next Transformers, the next Avengers and stuff. But for me, I mean, I'll never forget after we saw Infinity War and Endgame, everybody being like, yo, Josh Brolin is the GOAT. That man's performance should have been nominated.
It should
have been nominated because he brought things to Thanos that none of us would have ever expected after reading the comics.
Kazan, what were you going to say?
No, it's going back to what Fergie was saying about Disney movies. these movies they're not about the one thing. It's about all the IP around it.
Yep, exactly.
Like Scorsese got shit on for doing what writers do every day. He set a headline.
Yeah,
he got everybody to look at it, and then when you read it, it means a little bit more. And he's right.
Yeah,
the headline creates debate. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's the whole thing about Star Wars. Like, that's why the new trilogy is such a disappointment, because like you can be able to invest in IP and invest in these theme park experiences for films and still make them worthwhile. And Rise of Skywalker, after the third viewing, I was able to say, yes, this is simply just theme park experience. This is theme park fan service experience.
I can't go into Rise of Skywalker. I'll lose my damn mind.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker is.
I'm going to watch all of them in a row, and I cannot wait for the mush that will be my brain afterwards.
It hurts. It's too soon to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's still sad.
Now, this is a legit question. Which one is worse? Rise of Skywalker or Attack of the Clones?
Attack of the Clones.
Now wait. I don't think
Are you one of these prequel apologists? Like
order in the court. I don't disagree.
Rise of Skywalker have two people rolling in a meadow and talking about grains of sand.
Like, honestly, Fergie, the love scenes in that movie alone are painful. Painful.
Take away the no droids, the no stormtroopers, the only CGI everything, and just talk about content. Writing.
Skywalker.
Has anyone seen that video that talks about the like attempted assassination of Padme and how it's just a mess? How it was like Palpatine hires this one dude who tries to get a droid, who gets a bounty hunter. The bounty hunter gives it to his assistant. The assistant gives it to a droid. The droid turns it into a bug. But then the bounty hunter tries to go in and do it anyway, even though he gave it to like 3 other people. It's just like not giving George Lucas money.
If you pay attention to Obi-Wan's plot and arc throughout that film, it's like Ewan McGregor is such a fantastic actor, and he's so captivating to watch. But just at the end of the day, it's just like
he made us forget. He made us forget.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
No. That the second movie is the best. It's the worst. It's the worst movie out of all of them. Without
you want to do one rewatch though?
Like, there's no way you can.
Alex, this might be an episode for us, because I actually would like to do like the best Star. I mean, it's
Wars, like prequel, old ones, new ones.
Like do a prequel something.
I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory. I mean, I guess not.
Well,
I thought it was. I feel like the internet's taken the prequels and run with them. Like there's some kind of like misinterpreted, like, you know.
Because to be honest with you, to me, the best Star Wars movie is Rogue One, and it's not even the one with.
Right.
Yeah. Clearly, Rogue One is the best Star Wars
movie.
Rogue One to me is kind of like what I was saying with DC films. Like the best ones are ones that don't really. They're not trying to be part of something bigger. They're like made to be good singular standalone films that can do what they need to do. Like that's why it's good.
Really based in realism. And then out of nowhere, Darth Vader appears. And it's just like,
boy, that part is just.
Well, they cram that stuff in.
The absolute best.
But they make him this evil fight. That when he's going through the thing with his lightsaber in the dark, like, it's
the absolute best. That was a privilege to see during a midnight showing.
It hits you so hard.
I'll never forget that moment.
Because you think about it for a second at the beginning. You're like, I'm watching a Star Wars movie where I have not seen one Jedi, one Sith, no Force powers.
I love that.
People are just you're seeing the world, and then all of a sudden, and it was encapsulated by a YouTube comment, which you should never read the YouTube comments of anything. But this one comment,
the ones right now, they're really great.
Except for the ones here.
They were like, they talked about it in a way of, you've heard about this man you've heard about this man clad in all black with this like fire sword and like all of this stuff, and they like put this whole thing together, and all of a sudden he's standing right in front of you, and you have no idea what to do. And that is exactly how you feel when you see it. It's like a fable come to life when you start hearing him breathing. Nah, you outdone.
That presentation of skill. That presentation of skills. It's like that is the true Darth Vader.
And he didn't look like he was crying.
Ooh.
Yeah. He was just like,
just to watch him fuck him up, just as a warm up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it gives, because that was the one thing that I will say, like, even watching like episode 4 back, because we've been going through them in order, the stakes aren't necessarily high, like it never feels high, even when like Obi-Wan's battling Vader at the end, because like of what they could do with lightsabers at the time, like it doesn't really, you don't feel any danger. So like, but now attaching that movie right before this one, all of a sudden you're like, oh, this guy, if he chooses to, could actually really fuck shit up. And you just, it's just a whole different understanding of what this, yo, AJ is so true. Wait, read AJ's latest comment.
What did he say?
He said, CGI.
CGI I'm almost positive it glitched. I was like, yo, guys. The last
yeah, and Moff Tarkin. They need to leave that. That's one thing. Okay, this is the final question I'll bring to the group, because this is going on. This has been so fun, and we really got to do this again, guys. Seriously.
Yeah.
What do we feel about, for those of you who saw The Irishman, or not even The Irishman, but any of these movies? What do we feel about CGI de-aging?
Oh,
what do we feel about this
de-aging?
In
context, it's chill. When you're scrolling down your Facebook and I see DH CGI Joe Pesci, nothing is more horrifying. Like truly, like watching the movie, I was like, oh, this is actually really good. I was like, that's pretty dope. They did a good job. When people would just post it to make fun of it, I was horrified. I was genuinely horrified.
Well, and that kept me from wanting to see the movie. I didn't see it because of that. I haven't seen The Irishman.
Oh, wait. It's not as distracting as you think it is.
It's really not.
It really isn't. It really isn't.
It made me question whether or not they put old makeup on them.
Yeah, we didn't know that going into it. We watched it and we didn't know that they were doing that. And for a while we were questioning, like, are they? Aren't they? Like, is it CGI? Is it really good makeup? We really weren't sure. And like, that works. You know, if you can pull it off, it works. AJ in the comments is saying CGI Leia was rough in Rogue One, but that was full CG. That's a top to bottom computer person, not somebody who's getting makeup de-aged.
Yeah,
I think
it's I do agree with what Kazin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think he's lazy. It's like figure out how to cast people who can play different ages. He's not defined by your face.
Yeah, but this is Scorsese directing Pesci and De Niro. Like, these are very, very specific people.
But it works. Like, it works when the movement is like mostly slow. Like
because the one thing I keep thinking about every time I see that is like, what if Francis Ford Coppola was like, oh, I could de-age Marlon Brando instead of having De Niro play younger him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it would have been a terrible. It's like, nope, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a bad. I don't like it either.
And especially going to Zach's point, because the scene that just got me, the scene where I was with it, I was in it, I was going.
Is it the shop?
It's the shop.
When he beats up that man.
Yo, that
there's one moment that you're gonna be like, nah.
Wait, what? Say that again.
So there's this
moment where you're gonna be like, no.
When he pulls him out of the shop, when he's like harassing his daughter.
Yep.
He beats him up on the street, Alex.
It looks like an old man kicking.
I don't even remember.
So yeah, he
looks like Dolomite.
So it's supposed to be like,
oh my god,
it's supposed to be De Niro at age like 40, whatever.
Right.
Pull him out of the.
Oh yeah.
Right, and he pulls him out. But it looks like 45-year-old De Niro, kind of, but with the body of 70.
Right.
Yeah, when they do the wide shot, it looks.
That wide shot is trash.
thing. All right, so if you reverse this question and you look at movies where you've got multiple actors playing a character throughout aging process, what's your best movie or best like set of actors? It's a hard question.
I do love what Kyle said about Robert De Niro and Marlon Brando
That's a great
in
one.
The Godfather. That's so good.
Yeah, that's those two make sense.
Multiple actors playing the same role.
Yeah. So like in Moonlight, you got the same character.
I was literally just gonna say Moonlight.
Moonlight
examples.
My favorite one, and I say this and I don't know the names of the other two actors, but Slumdog Millionaire.
Ooh.
And you see like the little kid when that kid, you're like, "Oh, come back," and you know he's never going to be in the movie again.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh no! Wait, hold up. Now Daniel Gaymon just brought something up about Gambino playing Lando, and I just wanted to. I have not seen Han Solo. Should I watch that movie?
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, just a no.
It's fun. It's a fun movie. It's the most pointless.
I haven't watched the
Star Wars films
for that reason, but I feel like
but it's so much fun. I had such a fun time watching it, and I think Lando is so damn good.
Yeah,
I think Glover is great. Sarah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Please don't apologize. I'm sorry. I feel as if I'm just like taking over the chat with my opinions about Star Wars. With Solo, I think it had a lot of really, really cool elements. I know there was a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, and my heart really goes out to all the people who made that film, because I know it wasn't an easy journey to make it. You know what I'm saying? Ron Howard is the man. I think all of those actors are so charming. I think those actors really, really turned it out. But this movie breaks my heart. One, because I feel as if they were trying too hard to make Han Solo into a good person. And that completely takes away from his journey and his arc in A New Hope. In A New Hope, Han Solo shot first. He shot Greedo first because Han Solo is a gritty, hardcore, out for himself and Chewie. Like, homie is a straight up pirate. Doesn't believe in the Force, doesn't believe in any of that. And then he meets this young boy, you know what I'm saying, touches his heart, kind of meets this woman, falls in love. It's beautiful. He finds a higher cause. And then he leaves to handle his business, and he comes back at the last minute. And that star with, first of all, that is why Leia fell in love with Han Solo, because he came back and showed that beautiful integrity and was just like, yo, I'm in love with that man. And that Death Star would not have been blown up if not for Han Solo helping a brother out. You know what I'm saying? So like when you watch Solo, first of all, it's just, one, his arc is completely diminished and taken from us, in my opinion. Two, they give him a stronger and deeper love story with beautiful Emilia Clarke. Homegirl did a wonderful job, but it's just like, you're really going to hand us a love story that is going to trump the love story of Han and Leia? No, I didn't ask for that.
She's not wrong.
I didn't ask for that. Why are you doing that?
Not wrong.
And Donald Glover was dope.
Donald Glover's great.
I also do not like that the Millennium Falcon is a droid that
yeah, that was an interesting choice.
What's his
name?
Wait,
what?
Don't tell
I'm sorry, spoiler.
No, tell me. I honestly, I don't really care to watch it. So it's what do you mean, droid?
It's so Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Lando Calrissian was in love with a female droid, and
that's problematic. That's problematic. I didn't like that. That shit was nasty.
He downloaded her into the Falcon, and she is responsible for making the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Not Han Solo. It wasn't his skills. It was the droid.
Sarah.
Very passionate.
God is left.
I love your passion, Sarah.
Go, Sarah.
That's amazing.
What?
I know. It's really bad.
I'm so happy I didn't watch it. Thank you.
I'll say this. You know what I think though? In going with how production was kind of shit for them, I think the whole idea was that, you know, they're trying to like make everything a fucking trilogy. They're trying to make the next like big Star Wars trilogy. I think they were trying to originally have Solo be a trilogy film.
Yeah, I think that too.
I think the whole idea is that by the end of the trilogy, we see Solo become who he ends up being in A New Hope. I'm guessing that when he learns that Emilia Clarke is like really, what she is, he's going to be so heartbroken that he's like, fuck everybody, Greedo, boom, fuck y'all. You know what I mean? I think the whole point is that this movie was supposed to be the start of a trilogy that really gets us to where emotionally we find him in A New Hope. But I think, like Sarah said, because the production was so shit and Ron Howard was literally thrown in about 2 weeks into shooting, all of that shit had to get changed, and now they're not going to make another couple of films.
But here's my thought on that then. Why not just make the movie about an a man who seems irredeemable, who actually finds love for the first time in his life, but then that love is terrible, and then it would still make sense anyway.
Well, I think that's what they were. I think I'm betting, and again, this is not based on any fact or anything I know, but I'm betting that if that Solo trilogy had gone on, AJ is coming in hot with these comments, y'all.
AJ mad.
Okay. But I think right, I'm guessing we would have seen this person break his heart, and that would lead us into the Han Solo that we meet in episode 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. This would have been the person who but my thing with that is again, I understand that these, we're telling stories retroactively, but we want to, I think whenever you're doing retroactive, I always think, Alan brought up Back to the Future, and I think not that that's retroactive storytelling, but the brilliance of Back to the Future is seeing how all these pieces fit to create the present day whole. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of when you have these movies now that are going back and filling in the spaces of movies that we already know. If you're adding things that are integral to the characters or the mythology that aren't at all referenced in the current films, then all of a sudden you're not giving it more weight. You're just adding these things. You're actually not serving the story that was there before.
Yeah.
Oftentimes that makes the original story obsolete.
Yeah.
So our experience of watching the original stories is completely sometimes pointless.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost as if they're trying to do a fan service, but they're also trying to kill off any kind of storylines that are emotionally attached to that original trilogy in a way to the point where I honestly think Disney has a vendetta against the fact that they never created the original trilogy, which is why they tried so hard with this new trilogy in itself. And it honestly makes a lot of sense when you think about all of the new films and how there's so much emotionally that just does not add up, including some of Luke's behavior in Last Jedi and the second to last film. It just, some of it doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah. No, it's a whole thing. But look, guys, we have now been talking for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we need to let other people up in this.
Let's close it out. But I thank you guys for coming, and everyone again. Before we go, we just want to say thank you to everyone who came through. Thank you to everyone in the green room. We will do this again because this is just fun as hell.
It's so good.
It's so fun. And if you haven't already, I know everyone has, but please, please, please go if you can, if it's not overextending yourself, and donate to Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. BroadwayCares.org. Help 2020 donate.
And also the United Negro Fund specialist for Fergie. Some
of
us are not working right now. And it would be helpful because some of us don't have jobs. Very difficult time for Black artists everywhere.
Fergie's not making it. He's not making any sense. So for our podcast, episode 1 is live now, so you can go on the website bpn.fm/Little Justice to listen and subscribe. And we release a new episode every Monday, so it's coming. And for the first 4 or 5 episodes, please excuse the fact that my microphone sucks. It's terrible.
I finally got you a real one, but it's too late.
Yeah, I now have a real one. It now sounds better, but the first ones were just garbage. But gentlemen in the private chat,
thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks everybody. It's been lit.
Absolute pleasure. We love you. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll talk to you